didn't grow up on Spongebob? Am I right, guys? Am I right? It was me. I didn't. It wasn't my fault though, I swear. I had parents that firmly believed that SpongeBob would lower your IQ and kill your brain cells. And looking at the state of content nowadays, they might have been onto something. But that doesn't mean I didn't have an appreciation for it, all right? So, okay, let's just move on to the video. SpongeBob was so iconic to our childhood that, on top of the show, it also had a plethora of toys and, of course, video games. Truth or Square, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, and, of course, the notable Battle for Bikini Bottom. I mean, who didn't grow up playing these? Am I right? Yeah, I bet you could probably guess who. Battle for Bikini Bottom was so popular, though, that several years later, it was remade for modern hardware. And it had reviews. I mean, the general public seemed to really like it though, since it truly was just the first game all over again. The problem with it was the fact that it did rely so heavily on outdated mechanics and game design that even in a new engine, it still played janky and was a pain to complete. I mean, who even designed the Squidward Dream level? More like a nightmare, am I right? Or how about how you need to collect endless shiny objects in order to buy the remaining spatulas from Mr. Krabs? So you end up just playing the skee ball minigame for several hours while you second monitor The Office for the 9th time. Is this really what gaming has turned into? Really? Purple Lamp Studios knew that they could do better, and with the success of Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, they were allowed to make a brand new game, The Cosmic Shake. And that game was good. I mean, like, it was really good. It had several unique worlds, new gameplay mechanics that built off of the last game, multiple outfits, and a ton of references for older fans. This bus stop gimmick gets funnier every single time I watch it. It was the ultimate love letter to SpongeBob fans, and if it wasn't for the SpongeBob movie video game, The Cosmic Shake might actually be the best SpongeBob game. That is just my opinion, but I did platinum it twice. So building off of that, it brings us to the new title, SpongeBob Titans of the Tide. Now, before I get into the many details of this game, I will preface by saying that this is just basically more of what we got from the Cosmic Shake. Which is fine because that was a great game, and you know what? I kinda do want more of that. That's not a downside here. And I will be touching into like a little bit of spoilers, so like, it's not like it's gonna be anything major because it's a SpongeBob game. It's not like, oh my god, Mr. Krabs died, because that would be a crazy twist, and if they did that, but no, for real, it's all mild and tame stuff, so if you don't want to be spoiled for like rewards and secrets, you can, I'd get it. But anyway, let's jump into the story, shall we? Titans of the Tide first had a demo that was released a month before the game did, and it let you play the first half hour of the game or so. And I could tell just from that this game was going to be smooth. The swapping between SpongeBob and Patrick felt clean, and you could even hit children. That was the selling point for me. But the one criticism that I had from the demo specifically was that the cutscenes felt kind of janky. The sound effects were a bit off, the scenes themselves didn't really flow, and the transitioning from one scene to another with the title cards felt really unnatural. I was hoping that these would be fixed in the actual game, and, you know, for the most part the sound effects were, but I can't help but feeling that the editing of the cutscenes, or even the directing of them, could have been better. Watch this fade real quick and notice how the visuals and the audio just seem kind of off.
Have a refreshing beverage.
Okay, but now just take the same scene and just cut the title card out.
Have a refreshing beverage.
So much better, right? Now, I don't think the title card was the problem there, but the transition in and out of it really felt awkward. And maybe if they just took the time to write and edit the scenes more like you were watching the cartoon, it would be a lot stronger. But I'll tell you what, if the cutscenes are the weakest part of the game, that's actually a pretty good sign. And we're off to a pretty good start, I'd say. So let's talk about that story then. The game begins with Mr. Krabs doing a 50% off Krabby Patty sale, which doesn't really sound right to me because I've never known Mr. Krabs to give out anything at a discount, but You know what, for the sake of this story, we'll go for it. Davy Jones wants some delicious burgers, but unfortunately has to wait in line. But then King Neptune shows up and he gets to cut in line. This act alone starts a feud between the giants, causing all of Bikini Bottom to turn to mayhem. And this is just a metaphor for billionaires and capitalism, right? They fight with each other, everyone else is the ones who suffer. Am I thinking too much into this? Probably, but you know I'm right. Half the population gets turned to ghosts, including Spongebob, but he discovers through the power of friendship that he and Patrick can switch roles whenever they like. And they use this power to track down the Titans of the Tide to fix the destruction and save Bikini Bottom. The setup is very similar to the Cosmic Shake, where you travel from location to location, tackling longer linear platforming levels that will additionally have some mobs to fight, collectibles to find, and side quests to track along the way. And then every world ends in a wicked boss fight. I mean it, like these are awesome. Like every boss fight had its own unique idea that was able to evolve as the boss fight went on. And by the end of every single one of them, I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good boss fight. But the actual framework of game design has to be commended here because just like the Cosmic Shake, they did phenomenally. Most of the platforming involves swapping between Spongebob and Patrick to use their unique abilities that feels rewarding when you chain together a good combo. The level designs work hand in hand to make this feel fun, and each offer a unique twist or game mechanic to make them feel fresh. Take Neptune's Palace for instance. Once you get inside, the entire palace becomes one big puzzle. The dining hall is this central point with a giant switch that every single time you hit it, all the different doors and platforms swap, so you need to use that to venture further into the palace, then find a way to loop back, hit the switch again, and continue further in. Looping through and utilizing this one switch to find new alternative pathways was a really unique way to design this level, and it does it in a way that doesn't feel annoying. I love it when video games do that. We won't talk about how the rest of this level, and subsequently half of the game, builds off of this mechanic with this switch jar that is pretty blatantly just stolen from Crash 4, let's be honest. But hey, you know what? It's still a fun mechanic, okay? I had fun with it. But I do greatly appreciate how all the levels still have a distinct feel from each other. Take the final level for instance. When you're not trying to solve a laser maze that I'm sure will inevitably take you to Darth Maul, you're ripping holes through the time and space continuum, traveling through different parts of Bikini Bottom. This caught me so off guard when it first happened, I'm pretty sure the camera wigged out and I fell to my death. It's actually crazy that Sony tried to convince everybody that this was only possible in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart because of the power of the PlayStation 5's SSD. And here we've got Spongebob doing it. Look how far we've come. And then once you beat the game, oh, hold on, spoilers real quick. All right. Yeah, but once you beat the game, you get the golden spatula, which is a weapon that allows you to take out any enemy in a single hit, which is great because if you go backtracking through the levels looking for collectibles, you're no longer caught up in these mob fights that might take a couple minutes at a time because you can just slice and dice your way through all of them. So even the larger, more annoying enemies are just poof, gone in one hit. Brilliant idea, actually. 10 out of 10 on that idea specifically. But I guess since I did touch upon collectibles, yeah, let's talk about the collectibles, shall we? While Battle for Bikini Bottom had all of the golden spatulas that you had to collect that gate kept you from certain areas of the game, the Cosmic Shake and now Titans of the Tide have a more linear path to get through the game, with collectibles being a more side progression for 100%, but not necessarily required for the story. The Cosmic Shake had these little coins that you could use to progressively unlock more and more skins, but Titans of the Tide is a bit different. Aside from coins that you can use to purchase things that you've unlocked, the basic collectible is just a treasure chest. Granted though, these can be found anywhere by doing just about anything. Sometimes they appear when you interact with the environment a certain way, sometimes they're just laying around and you have to locate them, and some of them you get for completing one of the many side quests. Side note about the side quests though, do not be fooled about the number of side quests in this game because half of them are just Larry. And all he asks you to do are like these short little races. And I do mean short, like one of them was 11 seconds long. Like don't get me wrong, they're fun, but that's half of the side quests in the game. Come on, Larry, get a new hobby or something. Okay, back to the treasure chests. Some chests give specific collectibles like new outfits to unlock, unique camera filters, or decorative items for the airship. But on top of that, every chest gives one additional collectible, and that is the scrap metal. Plankton has these really cool challenges that you can access from the hub that in no way infringe Mario Sunshine's copyright. Probably. Every chest you open gives you one scrap metal, and the more metal you collect, the more of these totally unique, never before seen challenge levels unlock. There's 130 chests in the game, and 130 scrap metal required to unlock every last challenge. And so your 100% criteria is directly linked to getting these chests and completing these challenges. So there's one problem with that. What if you can't? Okay, quick story time. And I know you guys love story time, so grab the popcorn. In order to get 100% completion, you need all 130 chests. All 130 chests are linked to everything you do in the game, including side quests. And I personally got locked out of getting one of these, and it made me very, 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 very sad. There's one side quest in Atlantis City where you have to find Spot. This quest auto-populates halfway through the level, and his hiding spot is right before you hop on the last boulder at the end. The problem is, he wasn't there. Yeah, I found his spot and he wasn't there. The core reasoning for this issue is that the quest never populated. And if the quest doesn't populate, then Spot doesn't appear, and I can't get 100%. If I had to venture a guess as to how this happened, it probably goes back to the Krabby Patty minigame. And here's what happened there, right? You need to get 300 Krabby Patty points in order to complete this side quest. However, if you get 999 or more points, you get a special trophy. After a couple of attempts of being truly locked in and focused, I eventually surpassed 1,000 and got that trophy. And then the game immediately crashed. It still gave me the trophy. I have it, it's on my trophy list, but when I logged back into the game, it never recorded that I got over 999. It wasn't a big deal to me because I still had the trophy, so I didn't care, but I'm assuming because the game crashed during that time, it corrupted the save data and made it where the Spot quest just never appeared. And I know this has to be the case because I started a brand new file, played an hour and a half into the game to get back to that point, and guess what? There's Spot! So it really is just that one save data that this happened to, and it's very much just a me problem. So this won't affect most people playing the game, so don't think that this is an actual issue. It's just, it's something that's wrong with me. I am a broken person, and this is my broken save data. But that's just what happened to me, so thank you for listening to the story. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks. There is one more unique collectible that I forgot to mention, which is crazy that I almost forgot it because it is literally the best collectible in the game, and that's these little TVs that you can find. Every single time you find one, you get a very cool David Hasselhoff quote, and they are very cool.
In the right hands, mayonnaise is an instrument.
Once you collect all the TVs, you can take them back to the Hasselhoff Shrine in Neptune's Palace, and you're treated with the greatest video I've probably ever seen. Oh, I mean like it's actually a banger.
Soon may the BFFs come to burrow, kick and jump and run. Soon may Spongebob come to save Bikini Bottom.
That was worth the price of admission. So while I didn't get 100% as of the recording of this video, due to the aforementioned corrupted save data, I did have a fun time playing the game and will continue the save file so I can get the platinum for it. But hey, what's the good without the bad, right? Time for a little bit of critical review on this, shall we? Because everything can be improved somewhat, except for chocolate milk. They really did get that right on the first try. Shout out chocolate milk. So obviously the first thing I can think of is the cutscenes. I did talk about that a little bit already, but I do want to take it one step further. I saw this tweet the other day where someone was comparing the aesthetics of the old games to the new ones. And while graphically the new ones technically look better, they do sacrifice a little bit of the charm. The SpongeBob games from the early 2000s look and feel like you were actually in Bikini Bottom. This felt like the place right out of the show and you were in it. As opposed to now, it just feels like you're in a video game with a Bikini Bottom setting. It doesn't feel like the real Bikini Bottom, and every Bikini Bottom in each of these new games feels disconnected from one another, and even more so, disconnected from the show. What I'm trying to say here is that the new ones act like SpongeBob, but the old ones really were SpongeBob. Does that make sense, or do I sound insane? Be honest. I won't have no liars around here. Leave a comment right now. Do I sound insane? Leave a comment and tell me how honest you are. There were a couple other small issues, like every once in a while there'd be major frame droppage, but this was more of a rarity. It doesn't ruin the experience, but it was very distracting. But my one true gripe is that I wish they were more specific about where each of the collectibles were hidden. Like when you go to the map, it'll tell you how many chests and side quests there are in each level, but I wish you could hover over each section and it would tell you how many were in each section, instead of having to literally go up and down the entire level looking for those last 2 chests that you can't find. Just a little bit of guidance would be great, just a little bit. And the last major criticism I have actually has nothing to do with the game itself at all, and rather has everything to do with monetization. I really hate this new age of monetizing video games. And this might be like my most boomer take ever, but I miss the days where you could just buy a video game and then like that's it, you have the whole video game. Hollow Knight Silksong figured it out. Why does everybody else suck? Okay, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy the Naked Patrick I got from pre-ordering the game. Seeing him in every cutscene just made every cutscene better. I mean, look at that crack. It goes all the way to the top. And I did pre-order the game, by the way. I did spend $40 on this, but that's besides the point. I'm getting off track. So although I spent $40 on this game, some people spent upwards of $60, and that's just so that they could get the season pass. Now forgive me for saying this, but why does a SpongeBob game have a season pass? It doesn't need a season pass. It's a SpongeBob game! The season pass gives you some bonus character skins, a couple new side quests, a few new plankton challenges, and 2 new levels in the future. So why are they withholding extra levels in a SpongeBob game? And the wackiest thing is, if you don't want the extra levels and you just say want the plankton challenge levels instead, you can still get those by themselves for $10. This ain't worth $10. At least with the Cosmic Shake, their one DLC was just a costume pack for $10, and so it only existed if you wanted to give a little bit of extra money to the developers to show your support for the game. It makes sense in that aspect, but to actually like hold back part of the game from players, I disagree. I disagree. But again, that's more of a criticism to how the gaming industry has manipulated the way that we purchase games now, and less on the game itself. So if we talk about the game in just its own little bubble, it's a good game. The platforming is easily the best we've seen ever from any SpongeBob game. The references to the show are still plentiful for hardcore fans, and the worlds you get to explore and the secrets you get to find are fresh and exciting. Now, I wouldn't say it's better than the Cosmic Shake, but like it's real close. They're like right there. So if you liked the Cosmic Shake, you'll love this one. Like, highly recommend. So aside from the dark, horrible path that monetization is leading us down as a gaming community, the SpongeBob games are genuinely at the peak that they've ever been. In my opinion. Again, a SpongeBob movie video game, you just can't compete with that. So I truly do hope that this still does well, because I really do want to see more of these SpongeBob games in the future, and I've been a fan of every single one that they've made. Otherwise, down in the comments section below, let me know what your favorite SpongeBob game is, like for real now. I asked you guys to leave a lot of comments already, but this one for real, leave this comment. Tell me your favorite SpongeBob game. Otherwise, that's going to be it for me, because I do still want to 100% this game, and I have to start on a brand new file, so I'm gonna get started on that. Hopefully the Krabby Patties don't corrupt my save data again. I don't know how to end a video anymore. Click these videos, please. Please. They're good. I swear. I swear, they're so good.